Hello, you're watching Sightline. Today we'll talk to Ms. Chimegsaikhan, who is the co-founder and CEO of Agrolly farming app, which is last year's winner of Call for Code Global Tech Challenge by IBM company. So, Chimegsaikhan, it's great to have you on our program.
Thank you so much for our invitation. I'm glad to join you here today.
So, Agrolly app was initiated and founded by 4 global entrepreneurs, including you, who want to use technology to help farmers and to solve their challenges. So, could you tell what Agrolly really is and what offers does it provide to its users?
So Agrolly is a mobile app to help smallholder farmers in emerging markets to fight against climate change. We wanted to equip the smallholder farmers with some tools that large farming businesses use to optimize their outcomes, right? But climate change has devastating impact on smallholder farmers, and then they don't know how to improve their productivity. They don't know how to improve their crop yields. So for this purpose, mainly, we wanted to come up with Agrolly that can target the smallholder farmers, family farmers, we call it in Mongolia, household farmers, to fight against climate change and then improve their livelihoods and family income.
Mm-hmm. So you're leading the team in Mongolia to launch the local Agrolly Mongolia app, and it's going to launch this month. So in order to work and develop this app, you conducted the research and run the pilot last year. So what was the research was like, and how many people did you talk to, and what were their comments and feedback that you used to improve your app?
So how we started is from the beginning, I didn't know that we're gonna work on the mobile app, but just what I was doing was, while I was in my master's program in the last year, I was wondering how I could contribute to my country, right? It's something related to rural area. So I started reaching out to rural area people, and then I saw that a lot of patterns that was more lacking in the agriculture farming. So we chose 50 to 60 farmers in the 3 eastern provinces, including Sukbatar, Dornod, and Hinti province. And then we started reaching out to real household farmers, and we tried to identify what kind of problems they have specifically related to climate change. So I teamed up with my school friends in New York, and then we started our research and then started brainstorming. And then that's how we just came up. Maybe the climate change and how we can fight it was maybe mobile app can help us. So we started having a lot of calls, like Skype calls, and then everybody had Facebook Messenger, right? It's very surprising. So we thought it's quite potential solution then. Then we started chatting with smallholder farmers, and then that's how we just came up with all the ideas, and then we listed down the potential solutions that we can include in the app, and then that's how Agrolly just did that. But initially it was very raw because every conversation and every chat we had was Facebook Messenger and Skype calls, right? But when I came back last year in June, in October, I just had a field trip to those 3 regions, and then met in person the farmers we reached out to, and then we also showed them the pilot test app, and then just a lot of farmers gave us feedbacks and other solutions that we can integrate in the app.
Mm-hmm. So you said that you are working to solve the smallholder farmers' problems, especially those are caused by climate change. So what kind of problems are the smallholder farmers facing?
So basically in Mongolia, the climate is very hectic, right? Some summer it's very hot, some summer for some reason it's very dry, and then some summers it can be really cold and very, very rainy, right? So just the thing is it's very hard to predict the weather conditions, and then it's changing every year. But you cannot really expect that it's gonna be the same year as last year. Mm-hmm. So it's very different. So we wanted to ask them if they use the weather predictions, and then how long is that, and then how it helps them. And then we saw that there's a short-term weather predictions, right? You can see that, and then but it's as far as 3 months ahead. Mm-hmm. But we wanted to provide the 1 year So maybe this year you can see what is the trend, and then next year you could still see how the climate is going to change, and based on that you can tailor your crop yields. You know how when to what to grow and when to grow, where in the places in Mongolia like to grow some certain crops. And then that's kind of specific tailored information that we wanted to provide with the farmers so that they can plan everything ahead, like at least 1 year ahead, which is going to help a lot, because then you can see what is the market trend going, what is the climate trend going, and then how consumer is changing, right? So those kind of information you really need to do run the farming business.
Okay, so Agrolly app, as you said, it has got this weather forecast feature, so it will give the long-term weather forecast to its users. So apart from that, it has got record keeping and forum and crop management, and also marketplace and expert advice. So could you tell us how those features work to benefit the users of Agrolly app?
Yeah, first in the beginning when we tested the pilot app, it was very generic. We thought it's going to apply more for the global level, but after piloting in Mongolia, Brazil, and even in India, we thought that maybe the advancement or agriculture development in each country is a little different. Demands and needs are a little different. So that's why we started developing the tailored app after winning the competition by IBM, and then. In Mongolia, for example, we found out that it's very interesting that every family, to start the farming, you have to have a household code. That's how your local department of agriculture, they always know what kind of crops you're planting, and then because they also want to know what is their capacity in the region, right? So the record keeping is that for that purpose. Now everything is pretty much paper-based. So we wanted to digitize that process, instead of putting everything on the paper, because sometimes manual data is not necessarily be accurate, right? But if you digitize that, and then timely, if you keep answering the certain questions, and then those data will be recorded, and then when agronomists request that, you can send it, and then that's how they can download it as an Excel sheet. So it's going to be the full report. So it's much reliable data we are trying to pull out from the app. And also there's a forum and discussion. For example, if you're in the eastern part of Mongolia and you want to connect to somebody in the north part, maybe from Silink, then you can just start chatting on the app. There's a discussion that you can just go to the group and choose the region, or you can write it in for general farmers and then ask questions, send pictures, etc. So it's going to be quite kind of farmers Facebook, right? And we also have a marketplace that we are trying to add on because farmers, they rely on supply chain, right? But it's not necessarily the best option for them. So we thought maybe we can connect the consumers and or else big buyers like restaurants with the local farmers so that they can form later maybe some form of association that they can supply healthy local food with the buyers and consumers. We also have experts. We are integrating experts area and then agronomists to inviting them to join the app, because that's how they can connect. Right now, maybe in some big areas, only few agronomists, but they cannot reach out to all the SOMs, all the small units, household farmers, right? So maybe just digitizing can help a lot instead of just making calls or trying to visit in person so many farm fields. You can just use the simple mobile app and reach out and then solve the problems that the smallholder farmers are facing.
So the Agrolly users can keep their records and see the weather forecast, and also ask questions from other smallholder farmers or the experts. So last year you won the global IBM Developer Challenge, a call for code. You competed against 179 countries. So can you tell us how was the experience of competing in the challenge and also winning the challenge, and what has changed after you won the Call for Code 2020?
Well, it was exciting and also shocking event, I think, last year. and me and my friends in New York, like we are from Mongolia, India, Brazil, and Taiwan. So we teamed up, and then we started brainstorming everything last year in May, and then we submitted this proposal by June, and then we heard back that we became the winner in October, and that was. I think that was like really interesting journey, I would say. But like after winning, we started working with IBM Service Corps. They're providing us a lot of free resources, and then also human resource that a lot of developers, a lot of people, and the open source technology, etc. Like a lot of things are changing. So basically, for the global level, we are working with IBM to improve the technology to support those farmers, not necessarily in specific countries, but more like emerging countries globally. And then after, as I said, after winning the competition, we realized that the countries are a little different. Like maybe at least at the regional level, you have to tailor the apps, because when you go to the South America or when you go to the Asia, it's very different, right? Maybe some countries are similar in terms of geography and weather and climate trend, but not necessarily more related to government or more related to policy level. It's very different. So after that, we started developing the tailored app in Mongolia, India, and Brazil. And then we are pretty much in the same level, like in terms of launching. We're all launching soon, and we will see how tailored apps are going around the world. But most importantly, we are so excited to work with IBM company, because they're giving us free services, they're giving us free servers, and then also with IBM, we wanted to improve that main part in the app, which is the combining weather forecast with the crop requirements by UN FAO, that you can see the farmers can get the personalized information of what crop. It's very location specific, and based on their location, what crop and when and how they can grow the specific crops. So through that, I really hope that we can help the Mongolia a very nutrition sensitive production levels. That's what we are thinking.
Okay, this tailored app was developed in Mongolia, India, and Brazil, and also there is a web tool for Taiwan. And those are the countries of the initiators and creators of Agrolly app. So in the future, what Agrolly app is aiming to achieve?
So basically, we want to improve, as I said, like we want to improve our technology along with IBM, and we want to succeed in the local levels. You know, we like not necessarily we're trying to come up with this technology and trying to apply everywhere in the world, but like the main question is like, are we improving the productivity? Are we really helping those farmers? Are we really touching the pain points of those farmers, right? So like in Mongolia, for example, it's not necessarily a big market, but like there's a market that we can help. For that reason, we want to improve the crop yields. We want to help the agriculture sector, and we want to help the technology. We want young people to go into those traditional sectors, right? Like agriculture, when I first started talking about, everyone asked me like, why agriculture? Because it's not really attractive sector. But there's a lot of thousands of problems in that sector. So we want to see more and more young tech people like addressing the issues in the agriculture sector or else some other traditional sector and help and digitize all those problems and operation levels, right? For the global level, of course, we want to expand more to the emerging markets, not really just limited by Mongolia, India, and Brazil, even Taiwan. Like we want to go to the different part of the world, all emerging markets.
Can you name which part of the world and which countries?
I personally think Africa. I want to go to Africa and apply this one. But of course, before thinking that big dream, you have to work very hard for Mongolia, for example.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you very much. So I'd like to ask more about one of the features of Agrolly app. So it says it has got marketplace in the app, so the users can sell their own like grown vegetable to the restaurants or consumers directly. So does it mean that the consumers have to download the app and use the marketplace to buy those vegetables, or will there be another agent like platform, or how can they have their vegetables delivered to their home with like a minimum additional cost?
Okay, so marketplace is one of the additional functions that we want to implement successfully locally. And it's a very big, right? We're talking about ecosystem right now because right now there's no specific place that consumers can go into and trace like where in those productions are grown in Mongolia actually. Like maybe consumers, they want to trace to make sure that everything is healthy that they are eating. So we want to implement that. The marketplace is that we can connect farmers exactly with the consumers. And from the consumer's perspective, you can see who actually planted this. And then what kind of pesticide or what kind of chemicals or like what kind of like organic matters did you actually use, and then how long it took, or like where in the places, maybe if it comes from selling, like what sum. You can see, you will be able to trace it actually. And then also for the marketplace, we want to make sure that one of the hardest part to solve the transportation, right? Like if you're a big customer here, maybe a big restaurant, and you want to find a very reliable supplier in rural area, you can find it. But the question is like, how would you transport it to the urban market, right? So we wanted to also solve the logistics. We are currently in the phase of other young entrepreneurs who actually created this track that uses the renewable energy. So since we are trying to fight climate change, we want to, every stakeholder in supply chain have one vision, one responsibility, and one purpose. So for the supply chain part, like we want to improve more. That's why we are putting marketplace, but it's going to be very hard. We know that, we expect that there are going to be a lot of struggles, but at least like we want to shift into more climate smart and also nutrition smart agriculture.
So with the help of Agrolly app, we can see like where our vegetable is grown, but now we don't have got this access to see like what are we eating actually. So yeah, it's a very great feature that you're working on. So unfortunately, our time is coming to an end. So do you have a final message to give to our audience?
Yeah, so Agrolly is not yet launched, but we are soon launching in May. We can promise that, and then everyone can go into Apple Store and Google Store and then download the app, and then the premium. Some functions you can use it free, and then like we would appreciate if you can send us the feedbacks and comments, and so we can work more to improve the app in Mongolia. Thank you so much.
So Chimegsaikhan, thank you for coming to our studio and give us information about this wonderful app. And I wish you lots of luck in your endeavor.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it so much.
You've watched Sightline. Today we talked to Ms. Chimegsaikhan, co-founder and COO of Agrolly farming app. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.